Angola is experiencing a giant homecoming. After decades of war, the once empty banks of the Cubango River are now the gathering point for herds of elephants in the early morning. Only a few years ago, this region was one of the worst front lines in a gruesome war. Terrified and desperate, many Angolans fled from their homes, as did the country's wild animals. But the Angolans put their weapons to rest. It seems that the elephants took notice, and now they return as messengers of peace. The old bulls led the way on ancestral routes remembered from a peaceful time before war ravaged the land. Now thousands of elephants are returning.
Tuvalete mwelo mala mwelo hava malava okulupukila komwe njamba hava mwa pasiala.
The elephants travel from afar, crossing national borders and walking hundreds of kilometers. Starting on the luscious plains of Botswana, some choose to pass through Zambia to reach their destination, the remote and untouched Luyana Partial Reserve in southeastern Angola. However, some elephants take a direct route, straight through the villages of the Caprivi strip. The desire of the elephants to return home is strong. Unfortunately, this journey is anything but easy. Angola is riddled with landmines.
Move! Fire!
A German NGO is clearing landmines from the road along the river. Workers have noticed elephants roaming areas they have not yet cleared of landmines. Nobody knows how many landmines are still lying dormant in Angola. Thousands? Millions? Even the demining professionals don't dare give an estimate.
Although this is within the number 3 or 4 most affected countries on Earth on landmines, here has been 30 years of raging war in a time when landmines were totally acceptable by all partners. There are 6 different layers, historical layers. There were the Portuguese against the locals here. Then we have the South Africans, we have SWAPO, we have ANC that planted mines around their own camps here. We have Russians and the Soviets with all allies like the East Germans and Polish and Cuban forces, and they all had their own ideas what was right and what not.
A variety of landmines and weapons are still being unearthed.
Yeah, okay.
2002 saw an abrupt end to the war, leaving 500,000 people dead and 2 million people living as refugees in neighboring countries. The landmines were left behind. Large rural areas have not yet been cleared. Astonishingly, elephants cross still mined areas unharmed. Their tracks have become popular travel routes for the rural and often isolated population. As a result, one could say elephants are the liberators of rural Angola. It's 4:30 in the morning. In the demining camp along the Kubango River, everyone is awake. Work starts early to avoid the heat of the African sun. These men are specialists, all Angolans trained by a German NGO called Menschen gegen Minen. Dogs are the greatest asset to this team. Each morning they awake eager to work, especially Ackermann, the youngest of the 6 dogs on this project. He's an extraordinary German shepherd, talented and enthusiastic. He's trained to detect landmines.
A confiança que eu tenho com ele é que quando ele encontra a mina, ele fica tão motivado, tão animado, digo assim. E eu também me sinto orgulhoso daquilo que ele está fazendo.
Time to go, work to do. Today, the deminers are working right in front of the houses where elephants passed recently. While the local dog takes a nap, Ackermann is hard at work. Detecting landmines is a tedious job. Each centimeter of soil has to be sniffed. The dogs must concentrate even in the blistering heat. It is highly dangerous. A landmine may be missed or even stepped on. So far, this operation has never lost a dog in the field.
Very good.
Akai Mazuzu is one of the most experienced dog trainers in Africa. The Mozambican has worked in demining for decades in countries all over the world, including Iraq. Akai's methods are strict. No food rewards are given. If a dog like Ackermann smells metal or explosives, he must lie down. No digging. No close encounters with a potential landmine are risked. Ackermann must move away from the danger.
Very good.
And then he gets to play with a ball. Short and sweet. A small reward for an important job.
Every single dog we have is evaluated at certain intervals, like every 3 months or 6 months. We evaluate them on location. And you know, if the dog is not really good, then he's taken for an extra training. But you know, the way they are, they're quite good. They pick, you know, a lot of pieces up, shrubs, bullet capsules, and you know, things like that. So if there is something strange in the ground, they definitely pick it up.
And perhaps so do elephants. In the early days, some were killed by landmines. But now, there are no reported incidents. The millet crop is ready to be harvested. Elephants love millet. People here need them. The whole village will feed from one field. The earth is fertile, and therefore a good land to return to for both people and animals. The women in the village are agitated. Their field was destroyed. The tracks tell a clear story. Elephants passed through here last night, and it's not the first time.
Vile valia chakulivanga bahilukila mabakuli ya chamchivali bahilukila mchamkitatu bahilukila mchamchiwana uluva na kaindangechi.
The excitement over the giant's homecoming has worn off. It coincides with the resettlement of thousands of refugees in the region. People and elephants are suddenly competing for long-lost Angolan territory. Manuel Pedro returned to Angola just 4 days ago with his wife and small children. After 9 years of exile in Namibia, the former army general is clearing land to rebuild his life. Manuel is 72 years old, and for the first time in his adult life, he lives in peace. He's no longer a soldier, but now a husband and a father.
Eu sozinho posso viver no exterior qualquer, onde que eu puder viver, mas com a família tenho que eu criar uma coisa, uma fazenda, uma propriedade. Amanhã depois, quando eu morrer, que eles também podem possuir uma vida. E porque isso amanhã vai ser governado pelos brancos e os angolanos, mais um bocado elevado, então enfim. Por exemplo, eu como já conheço os países, a vida é fácil, mas para as crianças é difícil. Então antes que não morro, tenho que criar-lhes umas coisas boas, para criar condições amanhã depois. O governo vai lhe ajudar daquilo que eu já iniciei.
Manuel has set up a simple home for his family. There is no electricity and no shops close by. But at least it is next to the road which the deminers have cleared.
Tundo una no ruchiru kile kona abantu kwenda nabo kweta kwa.
The locals here also worry about the elephants. The chances are that Donna Maria or the children will run into a herd one day, perhaps while fetching water or washing the dishes. That can be a dangerous encounter, but it is a risk which everyone here now lives with. But this fear could be mutual. Many of the older elephants may have haunting memories of war, when up to 200,000 animals were killed for their ivory in order to buy weapons. In the 70s, Angola had the largest elephant population in Africa. But by the mid-90s, there were none left in the country. It is uncertain exactly how many of these elephants fled to the safety of neighboring countries. Now that elephants have dared to return to Angola, other animals follow. It is a giant migration back home. Botswana, a safe haven for wildlife in southern Africa as long as war raged on in Angola. It's the home of Dr. Michael Chase. He has been studying elephants since he was a boy. In 2001, the young wildlife biologist and his NGO, Elephants Without Borders, put satellite collars on some of the elephants. Dr. Michael Chase wanted to know more about elephant movement. How far can they migrate? How far will they walk?
I had a strong suspicion that elephants would go back to Angola. And had we not deployed satellite collars on elephants, we would never know that elephants were returning to their ancestral homelands. For the first time, we have recorded this homecoming of elephants. And now that it's happened, people might intuitively say, oh, well, of course they would go back to Angola. But it took Elephants Without Borders to record these important movements.
This elephant migration is both astonishing and scientifically amazing. It is also a solution to a big problem and could save elephants' lives in the future. The elephant population in Botswana is thought to be currently too high for the land to sustain. 22,000 elephants. For decades, huge veterinary fences have kept them within Botswana's borders. Dr. Michael Chase knows that many of these animals will have to be culled if the overpopulation problem is not addressed. He's excited to see how many of these animals have left to go north and how they have discovered the areas where the Botswana government has taken down some of the fences after signing the Angolan peace agreement.
You know, the word gets around. We collared one of our elephants, Rainbow Spirit, in the heart of the Okavango Delta, which is a lush green oasis. There's lots of food, lots of water. Yet she journeyed 318 kilometers across 3 international boundaries to return back to Angola, which, you know, it's a sense of, this is where I belong, this is where I came from, and now I can safely return home.
The data from the satellite collars have clearly identified corridors which the elephants have used as routes to Angola.
This is a wonderful graphic because it shows the impact that veterinary fences have on elephant movements. Some of these elephants are trapped, their movements are blocked, and so they're unable to move back into southeast Angola. But where the Botswana government have taken down fences, elephants are able to move from the Okavango Delta all the way up to the Kwando River, across the Caprivi, and back into southeast Angola.
With their lives no longer threatened, the elephants now return to their homeland, and they do so despite the danger of landmines. This fact has caused a lot of speculation. Can elephants really smell landmines in order to avoid them? Dr. Chase's survey suggests that nearly 8,000 elephants have returned to Angola safely and unharmed.
From our aerial survey work, we've flown many hours and we have not seen any carcasses or any evidence of elephants having been blown up by standing on a landmine. All our collared elephants that have wandered back into Angola are still wandering freely and seem to be avoiding these landmines. So based upon our telemetry work and our aerial surveys, my hunch is, and early evidence suggests, that elephants may have this ability to sense where landmines are and avoid them.
This information has shed new light on the abilities of these animals and their obviously heightened sense of smell. If elephants can smell landmines, then the fascinating question is, how do they communicate the dangerous threat of a detected minefield to their companions? There is no scientific evidence to back up Dr. Chase's ideas. However, a small herd of elephants in South Africa seem to be proving him right. Rory Hensman has worked with elephants in captivity for over 20 years. Rory is a firm believer that these animals can smell landmines, and he intends to prove it. He currently trains his small herd to do exactly that, detect landmines.
He's good with mines. Probably the best is that guy down there, Chushuru. He's very, very good. Yeah, Chushuru, come here. Maybe we come around this side. Just come around here. This is Chushuru here. I'm away. And he's probably the best. Got the best sense of smell. Chushuru talk? Or you all talk? From day one, he's always been keen to work with people.
Chuchuru and his 6 companions are primarily trained to entertain tourists. Detecting landmines is just their hobby. Today, a kindergarten is visiting the training range. The 12-year-old Chichuru kicks a ball like a pro. "16 months ago, these elephants were wild. But now they entertain the smallest of children with their big splashes. It is a far cry from the tough training which demining dogs have to go through. But elephants do learn fast and efficiently. It would seem they have a desire to learn. Perhaps detecting landmines is just one of their potential talents.
The first thing, obviously, is to get them to respond to the scent of a landmine, which is the explosive TNT. So we had to get a smeller-like TNT product and get them to react to that. We use the Shona word saga, matopi, look for explosives, and they pick it up incredibly quickly. Within a day, a couple of days, they know what we're on about. They're amazing animals, these guys. They are incredible.
Rory Hensman and his son Sean consulted dog trainers about training methods used in mine detection. Techniques are simple, and Rory and Sean have developed a similar approach for training elephants.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, thanks. Okay, that's the litmus paper with the fresh, the smeller-like TNT on it that they use for the training the dogs. That's what they're smelling. Yeah, and I can't smell a thing, but they can pick this up from miles away. The elephant's sense of smell is 14 times stronger than a good dog, and a good dog's sense of smell is 2,000 times stronger than a man. So the elephant's sense of smell is seriously strong.
Rory puts the smeller-like TNT in empty soft drink bottles.
Yeah, just pull that paper off there.
Many landmines also have a plastic shell, so the seemingly makeshift test tool is pretty close to the real thing.
It wants to go in here now. Yeah.
Rory begins with a simple exercise. He distributes the bottles on an open road, some with TNT, some without. And then the elephants start, one after the other.
We've taught them to salute when they get the strongest scent of a mine. They're walking along and they pick up the scent, and as it gets stronger, when it reaches its strongest point, they will stop and put their trunk up and wave the right front leg. And that means I've smelt TNT at its closest.
A basic task, easy work for Chichuru. The message to the elephants is clear. It's work time. We are now looking for TNT. Rory then buries the bottles in the ground, both the TNT smeller-likes and the dud bottles. Now the real work begins.
The idea is that when the elephant get close to a mine that has got TNT, they should stop and salute. Over here on my left, where that peg is, that peg demarcates an area where we put a TNT mine. So when the elephant gets into this area here, they should stop and salute and then carry on walking.
The elephants all salute and indicate a mine, some early, some late, some more clearly than others. It's not accurate, but it is obvious that all of them grasp the concept.
Back, 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 back. Hey, you bugger. You're getting heavy.
The elephants have walked this path many times, and critics could argue the animals salute out of habit, knowing where to lift their foot to receive a reward. Rory agrees to take a challenge and to test his herd on a freshly set up mock minefield. Neither Rory nor the handlers will know where the plastic bottles with TNT smeller-like papers are hidden. And of course, the elephants won't know either. The bottles must be covered well and left for a few days so that the scent of fresh earth disappears. There are two places where the elephants should indicate. A mock landmine sits at the beginning of the track, and the second where the person stands. All the elephants salute the first mine with ease. No difficulty there.
Well done. Good boy. Well done.
At the end of the track, the lead elephant wants to indicate that he smells TNT. But his handler pushes him on, obviously misinterpreting the animal's moves. A human error. Chichuru follows. Surprisingly, he does not indicate. The two that follow clearly indicate the missed mine. Their performance is not 100%. However, this exercise has proved that elephants can smell TNT and even in unknown territory indicate its presence.
A genuine team of demining elephant, where they were dedicated to demining, would work an awful lot better.
Rory Hansman is adamant that elephants, like dogs, can be used in demining operations in Angola and other mine-riddled areas.
If we got the green light tomorrow to go ahead and assist the current demining process by area reduction work, I would think we could reduce what's today envisaged as being a 300-year-long project. I would think we could probably reduce it to 10 or 20 years using elephant.
The contribution of wild elephants in opening up areas thought to be mined has already been considerable. In yet unsecured areas, people rely heavily on elephant tracks for safe passage. This is the eastern Caprivi strip, the border region between Namibia and Angola. It is difficult to imagine that this region was one of the fiercest front lines during the Angolan War. Thousands of elephants pass through the eastern Caprivi, using a 35-kilometer wide corridor from Botswana to Angola. Wildlife has returned and now roams amongst the remnants of guerrilla camps. Although abandoned, dangers still lie within the camps. Here, even government rangers use elephant tracks for safety. Monica Mosaki is the head ranger.
We are not sure yet whether there's still some landmines there, but I think it will be safe if you follow the elephant path, because there's none there. Because elephants have been, and they have, their weight is huge, so if they step on one, it could blow. That's just the best way.
Locals appreciate the elephants exposing the safe areas, but do not enjoy their presence around their homes. The Namibian government has erected warning signs along the one and only tarred road in the Caprivi strip, most likely for tourists. People in the villages are well aware of the potential dangers of the elephants.
For the elephants now, the main challenge is that as we have more, we have community living inside the park, and we get to experience too many problem animals.
Problem animals are defined as elephants that get too close to people. And last night it happened again. Elephants came to the houses and destroyed the small gardens. Nobody here has enough food to share with animals.
Ja, onze hoeven olifanten, maar maken ons tuin maak klaar. Maar ons denken, onze hoeven olifant. Daar moeten we ons houden. Ons land hierin. De andere landen niks olifant.
Murphy knows the elephant movements well. He's 62 years old. Satellite collars are unknown to him, as are research papers on elephant migration. But Murphy knows tracks, and he's aware that in his lifetime there have never been this many elephants here. The Caprivi strip is changing. Animals which Murphy remembers from his youth have returned. However, with the influx of elephants, other animals seem to disappear.
I could say for the elephants in general, they are known as ecosystem engineers if there are some changes to the habitats. So this is just good, but if there are too many, like now, then they cause also destruction. So we just have to keep the balance, which is now we are closely monitoring how we're going to do this balance.
Occasionally, Murphy tracks elephants for overseas hunters. In order to hunt elephants, one must attain a permit, an expensive and difficult process. However, in recent months, the Namibian government gave permission for 4 elephants to be shot in Murphy's small region alone. Residents of the Caprivi strip want more elephants to be hunted to provide food, as well as control their numbers.
Jaktelen, hij geeft voor onze vlees. Hij geeft voor onze vlees. Daar jaktelen, hij vat de vel. Hij vat de pons, dan de pons. Hij vat de voet, hij vat. Ons eten vlees. Daarna, die tijd onze blij, onze tjakken, ons is bijna mooi. Maar iedere keer hij maakt niks zo, onze honger, onze klagen, honger dood maken.
The situation between the elephants and residents is tense. When the elephants reach Angola, they behave more aggressively than in the protected plains of Botswana, where their journey to Angola began. The situation can be extremely dangerous for humans. The Namibian government is seriously considering raising the hunting quotas. They do not feel this is a radical move.
Not really a drastic decision, but it's just to, it's a well-established communication with the people who are living in the parks that if we give them something out of the wildlife, and that's including elephants, then I think we can have a good relationship with them, but not just destroying their crops and not getting back from wildlife.
It's a give and take situation. It's 6 a.m. back in South Africa. Chichuru is impatient. If he wanted to, he could easily force his way out. One big push, that's all it would take. But here the elephants have learned to obey the rules of captivity. In the wild, most elephants will not lie down to sleep. In captivity, they are willing to spend hours of the night on the ground and even kneel uncomfortably under their own weight to let the handler mount. Though nothing happens without a reward, an elephant's day begins with food, and so it continues. Chichuru and his companions help to run Rory Hansman's farm. Every morning, they must take out the cattle to graze.
Food's the big thing with elephants. They eat a lot. Their digestive system is poor. So they need an awful lot of food, 5% of body weight approximately daily.
This morning, Rory Hansman allows Chichuru and the others to take it easy. This is going to be an important day for the small herd. The team from the Demining company in Angola has accepted an invitation to visit the training range.
Okay, shall we go?
Go.
This is the opportunity Rory Hansman has been waiting for.
Okay, sit down,
He wants to show off his elephant skills to professionals in the demining field.
This was a wild elephant, well now, 18 months ago.
MGM boss Hendrik Ehlers has never touched an elephant. And although he ruled out working with these giants only a few months ago, he's now here to report back to the industry about the possibility of using elephants for demining in Angola.
Yo.
The elephants play along, only as long as they get food.
Do they ever stop eating?
The feeding and the way you manage the food, you know, in your situation, is hellish important.
This is the exact opposite of the regimental dog training methods used in Angola. There, the animals are managed to suit the needs of the demining operations.
They shit on command in the morning, and then they got rid of that problem, and then they're much more concentrated during the hours of work because that part is over. So that's deliberately we do that.
I would doubt you could do that with an elephant. He's got to have that continuous flow of enthusiast through the stomach. Yeah.
Food is one essential element. Water is the other. Rory cannot resist arranging an elephant shower for his guests.
So if you change that with beer.
They do not expect to be splashed.
God, they're thirsty, eh?
But this elephant is quite happy to share.
Opa!
Oh, that's the trick. Oh my God. I didn't know. Oh my God.
Right.
Well, I'm glad that they're not as big as I thought, because it has, for us, it's all a question of deployment. I can't really imagine to work in a minefield or somewhere like this with a huge elephant like I imagined. But now I see, you know, something like this in this size that is manageable. Yeah, that was rather impressive. Let's see what else you got up your sleeve.
Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll go up to where we've got these.
Rory has set up a new minefield. He's now eager to demonstrate how the elephants can successfully detect mines on terrain similar to that of Angola.
Transporting, it would not be difficult. We taught elephant to climb into a truck, and the smaller elephant, we had them in the back of the Land Rover and the back of the Land Cruiser. So, you know, you can do that with them quite comfortably.
Oh, well, we have Unimogs, you know, you can easily load upward 4 tons.
Simulating conditions in Angola, the minefield is set up along a small road. The herd is doing well, saluting at each hidden TNT mock mine.
Right. Okay. Thanks. Take him back to the dam. We'll get your food down there now.
Good job.
Hendrik and Akai are surprised when they see the device, which Rory has hidden on the mock minefield.
This is called a number 8.
That's the number 8 we're talking about.
This is extraordinarily difficult to detect image. And they were fabricated with South African precision, so they're well sealed. So although they're many, many years in the ground now in Angola, something like 25 years, the ones we find are still fully functional.
Of course, this number 8 only contains a TNT smell-alike strip. The men are impressed, but they remain critical, especially about elephants' discipline while working in the field.
Come on, Chuchuru. Hey.
On the second run, Chichuru is unsuccessful, missing a mine and veering off track.
They've missed it, Sean.
In a real minefield, this would be a deadly move.
It's very reluctant to get it. Come on, man.
Security issues are a huge problem in this scenario. The elephants walking on after detecting and signaling a mine would be a clear breach in international security measures. Chichuru and the others should stop and move away from the dangers as the dogs do in Angola. However, the deminers cannot deny that the elephants are capable of detecting landmines. Now the question is how to train them to perform up to standard.
A missed mine is kind of more important than a found mine. Because if you have a missed mine, then you think, why did they miss it? What can we do better? And if they find one, you say, hey, here we are. So I'm glad they didn't find it. But there's a little distance to perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Now, if we can agree on that, that's fine.
It's been a long day. Time for the elephants to round up the cattle. It's obvious Chichuru is ready to get back to the stable to eat and rest.
My head's buzzing. I say, how can we implement this? How can we implement this? Where does it fit in? What do I have to do? Because, I mean, there is other bureaucratic obstacles, like how do I get a license to import elephants to do mine clearance work from South Africa to Angola? You know, just thinking of it, I get goosebumps on new bureaucracy and how many licenses we need, and groups who do not like it or do not understand it, and donors. Somebody has to pay for this, and you know it won't be cheap, so I have to convince people to pay for it. And they, if they haven't been here and seen what I have seen here today, they don't want to pay for it because they think I'm nuts.
Rory is convinced he will need 1 year to train the elephants properly. It is a far cry from the dangerous plains of Angola, where wild elephants first showed their ability to sense landmines. This unexpected ability, this talent of the senses, has brought thousands of elephants safely back home to Angola. Maybe one day Chichuru will follow. Elephants adapt. They endure. Their passage home is not only hampered by landmines. People obstruct their path. It would be tragic if we could not also adapt, endure, and learn to accept and find a compromise.
We are way too far in wildlife conservation planning now to have to move people, and that's the last thing we advocate. People should not move from their homes right now. But the wonderful thing, the most exciting thing is that elephants are using regions that are not corridors or linkages that are not settled by people. And so those are the areas that we are trying to work towards conserving and setting aside as wildlife migratory corridors. It's still very plausible to do that, but we have very little time because of human growth rates and the rate of development. We have to act now. And I can't stress that enough, is that we must do all we can now to safeguard this very important elephant population by securing their ancestral migration routes.
In Angola, you hear the voices of peace. They are human voices. Maybe it's time to listen to these quiet achievers.